Hi, it's Nicola. Today's topic is writing tips, the ultimate guide of life story tips for new writers. And today's show is sponsored by the free Structure Success video training, and I'll have more about that later. But firstly, for newbies out there, Forever Young Autobiographies is the place to learn how to write life stories for family and friends so that unique memories can live on. It'd be wonderful if you could follow, subscribe and like the show. It was my birthday back in November and my brother came and brought me a second-hand surfboard, which is a little bit flightier and lighter than I was used to. And to tell the truth, I was very anxious and nervous about riding this board. I procrastinated, I got new fins, I got a new leg rope, I got the dings repaired, I spent ages waxing it, but I couldn't put off that moment where I'd have to take it out in the water and in front of everybody, perhaps embarrass myself and learn to ride it. And I bring this story up because you can get anxious and nervous about writing an autobiography, a memoir, a biography or other life story project. You can be talking about doing this project for a long time. You can be thinking about it, planning for it, buying tools and resources. But until you start to write, you're not a writer. But I have a lifeline for you today. I've got the ultimate guide for new writers. And this follows on from my earlier guide back in January that I put out about ultimate guide to planning to write. So we're going to take on the second step of the phase here. Now, I won't go into full detail about this ultimate guide because it's all over at my website, foreveryoungautobiographies.com. And it's basically a whole lot of articles that are grouped in different categories, and there's links to all of those, so you'll have a bit of a guide of how to get writing. I'm going to give an overview of those 4 areas today, and the first one is to pick your format. If you're a visual person, you might not be so keen on writing, and that's fine. You can start with a life story scrapbook. Similarly, if you're trying to build your writing confidence or you're pressed for time, maybe it's a life story feature article that you're wanting to do. And before you get started writing, also think, maybe you're more of a conversationalist, more of a speaker. Writing's not particularly your gig, but you can still do it by using a transcription service, which is voice to text. So there's a whole other realm there, whether that's an automated computer-driven transcription service or a real-life human being on the other end of that recording. And of course, another format that people, may overlook is to actually handwrite your life story. Now, this is it's very, very special, and because you get to read the words that the person who's writing it, it's almost like they're writing it for you because it's so personal. It's almost magical. So you might want to do a bit more preparation or have a think about handwriting. And I've got some links for you in the first section of the guide of all about formats. So that's section 1. Moving on to section 2 is you'll want to have a bit of an idea about some writing concepts and some techniques. Now these are just basic ones, like I've included things like finding your writing flow. And there's some techniques that, as a journalist, we use day in, day out at daily newspapers to sort of get over that fear of the blank page. So I've got a whole article on that one for you, so you can just get started straight out of the gate. And also some ideas about talking about being truthful with your writing, because a life story is, by its very nature, going to have highs and lows. You don't want to sort of gloss over it because your reader's going to twig. They're going to know that something's not quite right. So we need to have an understanding of writing truthfully. And then there's ideas about theme. Whether or not you think your book's got a theme, it probably does. It does. Most books do. Every book does, consciously or unconsciously. So you need to know a little bit about themes and also setting the scene for your readers and also introducing and developing characters. And finally, in this section, I talk about going beyond the facts. It's the who, the how and the why. And this is really important for reflective writing and helpful for your readers. It's when you impart those life lessons subtly. The third section of this ultimate guide is some more advanced techniques. Now, you might work up to this, you might skip to those, you're all over the other ones I mentioned, but they're just there if you need them. Now, these go into more advanced writing techniques such as dialogue, descriptive and visual writing, suspense. We've also got flashbacks, dramatic structure. And then there's a section on how to deal with difficult or painful memories, how to do that with your writing, and also an article on death and dying and addressing that in your writing as well. So again, they're more advanced things, but they're there if you need them. And finally, the final step of this ultimate guide is how to beat the writing blues, or how to maintain that writing momentum. You start out great, but then pretty much everyone's going to hit a bit of a roadblock. Their energy is going to fail or flail. And I've got some suggestions there on how to retweak your writing goals, and then how to use writing breaks to really get your writing mojo back. So that's the final section of that ultimate guide. Just to recap, we had talking about choosing a format, we had basic concepts of writing and writing techniques, and some advanced techniques and ideas, and then finally how to beat those writing blues. So that's pretty much all you need to know about writing a life story today. And I'm hopeful that all this information will really equip you to confidently put pen to paper. Again, everything is over at my website, foreveryoungautobiographies.com/writing tips. It'll be all there in great black and white glory for you to follow with the resources and links. So get lost over there, and please leave me a comment. Are you starting your first draft? I'd love to hear about it. Send me a comment at the website or leave one here. I'd love to hear about it. And earlier I mentioned the free structure success training. You can sign up for that over at the website as well, and I'm going to drop a link here for you as well so you can sign up. And this is where I hold your hand, we go through some memory exercises, and we come up with a basic outline for your life story project. It's really, really helpful whether you're starting out or you're sort of reached a plateau with your writing, and help get you back in the writing seat. Now, I'll be back again really soon with a new writing topic, so it'd be wonderful if you could follow, subscribe and like the show. And until then, happy writing.